future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Welcome to the National Safe Child Show, addressing the health, safety, and welfare of all children nationwide, because it shouldn't hurt to be a child. Here is your host, Tammi Stefano.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the National Safe Child Show. Ta-da. Okay, wonderful. I want to delve right in, folks, on the most incredible journey. Usually we cover issues involving CPS, corruption, child abuse, the courts taking over and intercepting a parent's ability to be able to parent their child. But today is extraordinary because we have a parent today who actually picked up the phone herself and she called CPS. And she did so because after moving to another county where, and I should say, this woman has 6 children, and she's done a fabulous job. She's got teenagers. She moves to another county, and we all know, listen, kids don't want to leave their friends. They become adjusted, and that becomes like their lifeline. And that's kind of what happened in this case. She has twin girls, and they were really sad. They moved to another place. They go to another school, and from the onset, they hated it. Now, mom in retrospect now asks herself, did something more happen at the school that I'm unaware of? But at the beginning, of course your kids are going to complain. I want to go back to my old friends. But what happened so quickly was these children began to resist mom. A behavior that she said they never exhibited prior to them starting this new school. They had a very close relationship. They were very warm and cuddly. They interacted fabulously with their peers in their prior school, but in the former school, there was a breakdown, and it was fast, folks. And the kids begin to disrespect mom. They begin to lash out. They are acting like people that mom doesn't even know. Who are these people? Finally, one day, the girls try to smoke weed. I mean, we do not condone children picking up any drugs naturally. However, what happened was mom thinking, I have to do something to grab hold of my girls, and I've got to do it quick, is she picked up the phone herself. Folks, this was not an anonymous phone call that came in, not yet anyway. But mom picked up the phone. Why? Because she said maybe, looking on the internet, Child Protective Services seems like they could help me to protect my children from whatever it is that they're going through that they're not sharing. And she picked up the phone herself and she called. And she says it was the biggest mistake she's ever made. And that's, in and of itself, is quite horrific, folks, because if we as a nation get to the point where we don't have anybody to call, it's just a recipe for chaos. Mom makes the phone call, and it becomes the horror of her life. And it's been a horror that she has been going through for the past 25 months. 25 months. Talk about wanting to take back time. She would do anything to take back time and literally throw the phones out of the window. because it has changed her entire family. And there's no recovering, and there's no ability to gain time lost. And all we can do, and the reason why we're covering this story today, is to ask those who sit in the seats of power to put a stop to this immediately, to reunite these children with their mom, and to give this family whatever they needed, or whatever they need, which now is lots of things. But what they needed before was a helping hand. They needed some support. Mom perhaps needed some resources. What's in the community? This is a new community to me. What's here so I can strengthen and empower my girls instead of having them feel the way that they feel? Mom didn't get that. Mom got her girls imprisoned. And Mom feels awful because that was never her intention. She loves her children and she will fight till the last moment, she says. But she is fighting what seems to be a system, and it's become a bunch of different entities. Right now, there is a court hearing that is soon to come up in the month of July. I think it's the 28th or the 29th, folks. And that court hearing, what's going to be determined is, do her children that have been locked up, abused, thrown into different foster homes, will her children now, per the state's recommendation, be sent to another state? And what they're considering, one of the possibilities, is Nebraska. Folks, this is a problem. She was trying to bring her family together, and the state has ensured, or what seems like the state has ensured, they are separated, perhaps indefinitely. One of the girls' lives, according to Mom, is in serious danger. John, do we have Mom on the line with us? Oh, let me see. Well, I don't know. John, do we have Mom on the line? Okay, he's probably trying to get her on the line now. Okay. Eating disorders, folks, commonly happen when a child is reaching out that has been abused. These two identical twins didn't have eating disorders. As I said, they were cheerleaders. Okay, there's honor roll. There were great involvement with their peers and their teachers. Okay, we are trying right
Hello?
now to get Mom on the line. Hi, are you with us?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Okay, so we're going to start. We're live right now. I would like for you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, I'm Laura Dalton. I'm the O'Donnell girls' mom.
Okay, and I was just explaining to the audience that this has been the worst horror that any parent can ever dream to be in, especially when you were the one that made the call in hopes of moving to this new community. You weren't so aware of it. You wanted some resources. You wanted some more community involvement that was positive for your girls. And instead, you got the worst horror of your life.
Correct. That is correct.
And how long has this been going on?
We're at 25 months now.
Okay. And I'm sorry. Are you afraid that you're not only going to lose your girls, but that your girls are going to lose their lives?
Yes, I'm very afraid for their life. That is most important right now. Their health is not being taken care of, and we've already lost one, or we've almost lost one twice now.
Okay. And are you getting any help from the state, from the social workers?
No, and we currently don't have any services in place. There hasn't been anything like family therapy or any of that hasn't been offered. It's just been lockup after locked up facility after psychiatric hospital for the girls. There was a time where they had gone AWOL, but there's been nothing to like help the family mend back together and fix some of the things that were going on prior in the home that led to the call for help. We haven't gotten any help.
You haven't gotten any help?
Nothing.
Well,
no, it's just made
it
things
seems
worse.
like not only, you're right, do you not have help, but it seems like, let's talk about one of your daughters, one of your twins. She has an eating disorder, correct?
Yes, both girls.
Both girls. But one in particular, your girls weighed about 145 when they left your care. When the state intervened and took custody, they both weighed about 145, excuse me.
That is correct.
Okay. Can you tell the audience, how much do your girls weigh now?
Alexis is about 129. Abbie is down to 127 last week. She was at 135 when she left her eating disorder facility June 20th and had already lost 7 pounds. They will not give me any updates this week as to her weight.
What was the lowest weight that these girls, either one of them, has been while in the care and custody of the state?
That would be Abbie because she's anorexic, and she got down to 94 pounds.
94 pounds. And how tall are your girls? How old were your girls when they were removed?
13.
And how old are they now?
15.
And at 13 years old, when they were first removed, how tall were your girls?
5'8".
5'8". Okay, and do you know how tall that they are now?
5'9".
5'9". Okay, and 90 pounds, 5'9". What size do you think that Abbie would have been in? And what did she look like?
She was 94 pounds. She was just all bones. I mean, her skeleton, you could see her skeleton. She had the feeding tube in. It was really bad. Her
It was really bad.
body started eating off of the heart muscle, and she has heart damage, and I really don't know how to describe it. It was really bad. Really bad. Really bad.
Would you say, well, you said it, your biggest concern is your daughter's life is in jeopardy right now. Would you say
Yes,
both of them?
Yes.
Okay, we spoke about Abbie. Let's speak about Alexis for a moment.
Okay.
Tell me about, describe Alexis before you moved.
Okay.
Let's do
Alexis
that.
she's really outgoing. She's outspoken. Alexis has always been the one to stand up for herself. She's been a leader to her twins. She's always been happy, but she stood her grounds when she knew, something was wrong. She would stand up for herself. And she's otherwise just happy and healthy. They were competitive cheerleaders. They traveled nationally. She's a very strong girl.
Okay.
Takes a lot to tear down Alexis.
Okay. Do you think Alexis has been torn down?
Yes. She's doing damage to her body.
Has she ever tried to kill
yes.
herself?
she had the ideation. That was recently. Other than that, she's using the eating disorder to control everything that she can't have control in her life.
That's the one area where she feels she can have control, and she is going to exert the control that she can have power over.
That's what it's been explained to me, yes.
Okay. At one point, how many facilities total would you say that your children have been in? And there's 3 of them, and I don't want to forget about the third, because when the department came to take the 2, your twins, they also took another one of your children. Is that correct?
Yes, they took all 3 minors that were in the home.
Okay. And why did they say that they took the 3rd? I mean, you're the one who made the call.
They felt that if I wasn't able to manage the girls, then they just removed all 3. There wasn't any. They just showed up. I mean, that was it. They just took all 3 girls. There was no. I wasn't even home when it happened. I was at the grocery store. The girls were struggling. We were looking for help. That was it. To get on the right path, get some resources in the area, try to get the girls back in some sports in the area, and I was gone. They just came and took all 3 kids. They sent the oldest to go get all their birth certificates. I got the call from the grocery store. They had my kids.
So you weren't even there?
No, I was at the grocery store.
Okay. If the state said, we're going to give you your children back right now, what would you say?
Honestly, I would still need help in getting Alexis help for the eating disorder.
So when you say help, you would need help financially, medically, or just emotionally?
Medically.
Medically. So,
Yes.
do you need help emotionally in caring for your children?
I'm in therapy as it's ordered through CPS, and the
Okay.
girls would probably have to do therapy as well. I mean, we're doing what
You're
is
supposed to be
ordered, but
doing?
the number
Okay.
one thing is financially is, I have the means to provide for them, but I don't
Okay.
have the means to come up with $40,000 for a treatment that they want me to pay that they were supposed to do 4 months ago. It was ordered.
Okay. A treatment as far as what? Who wants you to pay,
Alexis
and what treatment is it?
Alexis needs to go. It was ordered by her doctor that she goes into an eating disorder outpatient therapy program prior to being returned home. That was a recommendation in April, and the judge agreed and signed it. However,
In April of this year?
yes,
Okay.
the state does not have the funding. And we went to 2 hearings, and it was still on the same court order. But they didn't have funding. Both times, no funding. So Alexis ended up coming home on a home pass, and her legs were severely bruised, more likely from anemia, but we can't say for sure. And I got a call that they were going to place Alexis back home. We were going to have a hearing Monday, and she was coming home. So when we went to court, the judge, we had a family team meeting, and everything was, we had plans, of how things were going to work. And we go to court, and they just go off this list. Pretty much I'm responsible for Alexis's care, which is fine. There's other things that I could do, such as moving to Ohio and getting her on insurance there so she could attend, but not being on probation. That's not allowed. But I couldn't come up with the money that I needed to get her the proper medical care. It was supposed to have been done, and that's where we ran into trouble.
Okay. I spoke with several people regarding your case and your situation and the girl's situation. And there is some discussion about sending your girls out of state. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, at this point, that is what the hearing for July 25th is for. I've only got a glimpse of that recommendation from the girl's attorney, but that is the recommendation, yes.
Okay, so after speaking with one of the workers, she has assured me that you can call her and get any paperwork that you need to get. So please do call her, because I will follow up if you're not able to. However, as of 15 minutes ago, she said, have her call me, and anything she needs, I'd be happy to give her. And this was the supervising social worker.
Okay, because I have been messaging them all week and even trying to get updates from the Juvenile Justice Center to see how the girls are doing, and I have been denied numerous calls. I have numerous voicemails left in for the nurse. I actually messaged the supervisor yesterday,
Okay.
the caseworker, and juvenile justice probation officer, and explained to them in a text message that I really need to know what's going on with my girls, and I've been denied access to even return phone calls, and I have not gotten any response from any of the kids.
So what I was able to find out today is your girls are on lockdown for 2 weeks. I don't know why. I wasn't able to get that far because I've been scurrying for hours on the telephone speaking with a number of different people within the state of Michigan. They're in lockdown for 2 weeks, after which you'll be able to speak with them. Now, 2 weeks could be till after the court hearing. It seems rather peculiar. However, that's the information that was provided to me. I was also provided information that let's see. Let me see something. Abbie has been discharged from her eating disorder treatment program and that she's doing good. Is that the information that you have?
No, she was just seen she left the facility June 20th. June 28th, she's seen her primary doctor. She had gone from 134 to 129 at that point. She has ketones in her urine already, which is the start of the body's already in starvation mode. And she also has, her potassium is low. Abbie was scheduled to see her doctor again July 11th for a follow-up. That has been denied by DHS and Juvenile Justice unless I can come up with the financial payment for it ahead of time.
Have
Abbie
you
is
ever...
also scheduled.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go
she's
ahead.
scheduled to see a cardiologist. That was scheduled, or that was ordered back May 22nd, and that appointment was also missed this Wednesday. They denied it, and I do have the text message that it was being denied along with some other a surgery coming up with Alexis on the 25th. Unless I can fund that surgery, same situation.
Is this surgery that is optional or a necessity?
It's a necessity. It's ordered.
It's ordered by the hospital?
A GI specialist, yes.
Okay. So he said this operation must be done. If it's not done, what could happen?
She can have internal bleeding. She can die. It's to go in and scope her internal, what do you call it? For internal damage. I apologize. It's a GI scope and upper.
Okay. So they want to see what's going on.
Yes, she's seen the GI doctor twice already.
Okay.
And the insurance did cover those visits. They tried to put her on an acid reflux, something for Prilosec or something along those lines.
Right.
And then they added another medication as well to see if it would help. But Alexis has vomit that'll just come up on its own. I wouldn't even say it's acid reflux, but there's so much that comes.
Right.
So they want to go in and see the lining and make sure there's no internal bleeding going on and that she doesn't have any ulcers or, anything else internally going on. It's very important. That's the only way we're going to know what the bulimic what damage is actually being done is if they go in and scope, because you can't see what's inside of her.
Absolutely.
As her twin, you could see in an anorexic, you can see the weight they've lost. You can see the damage being done. Alexis doesn't even have menstrual cycles anymore. There's damage to her. She's got protein in her urine, which is start of kidney failure. So we know things are going on inside, but without the scope, we're not going to know everything.
Okay. So did you ask the department, the social workers, if they would make sure that this appointment took place?
Yes. At the last court hearing, as a matter of fact, it was asked in front of the girl's attorney.
Okay.
And I actually recorded the conversation.
Okay.
That the Medicaid does not cover it. It does not cover anything but hospital stays.
Have you ever been told that Medicaid doesn't cover something else while the girls have been detained by the state of Michigan, such as eating disorder facility?
Yes. No,
Yes.
Medicaid does not cover Michigan eating disorder facilities. That is the only thing that it has not covered. However, Ohio Medicaid, where Abbie went, and they transferred Abbie, they were able to place her and use Ohio Medicaid for her coverage. So the only thing in Michigan is the eating disorder clinic itself would have to be funded some way.
Okay, so would it shock you if I told you that there's several facilities in Michigan that they do cover?
Yes, because from my understanding, there wasn't any long-term in Michigan. That's why we had to send Abbie to Ohio.
Okay, so that's not what I was told today by the department. There are several. And they did acknowledge that, yes, she was sent to Ohio, but they do also have several facilities that they do cover within Ohio, which was concerning to me. Why send a child away from their parent versus staying close to their parent? Okay, so that's news to you, correct?
All of this is. I have not been told. Like I said, last thing I was told was there's no visitation, but I'd be able to have updates on the girls, and that there was no, these girls would not be having these appointments. And I do have it. I have an actual recording.
You have a recording.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the recording with you that we can hear that? Because if the fact of the matter is that they're lying.
Yes. And let me see.
Well, yeah. While I keep going on, see if you can get that recording. As it stands right now, folks, a lot has come out today. We need the public. Give me a Facebook page for your girls.
Free the O'Donnell girls.
Oh,
from
okay.
CPS.
Okay, Free the O'Donnell, ODONNELLS, girls, correct? S. Okay.
Free the O'Donnell girls from CPS.
Okay, wonderful. And you are giving updates on this Facebook page?
Somebody is giving updates, yes.
Oh, okay. You don't have that open. Okay. Somebody is giving updates. I will, if I can be added, whoever that somebody is, if you can add me to that page, I would love to share some things. There's a woman on this case. Her name is Amy Bennett. What can you tell us about Amy Bennett? Evidently, she is
the probation officer.
Right, she's the probation officer, but my confusion when I first began to investigate this was when I think probation officer, folks, I think about criminal activity. Were your children ever criminalized? Are they on probation in the criminal arena?
They are on probation for incorrigible charges for going AWOL. And the original was they were smoking marijuana and
Okay.
not following household rules.
Household rules where?
At home, nothing besides, they were just giving me a hard time, kind of. That was really it. Mouthy. They were rebelling from the new school. There was nothing. They weren't breaking anything. They weren't destroying anything. They weren't running away. They weren't harming people.
Okay.
It was simple, minor things that go on with other teenagers.
Okay.
I would ask for their phone. They may not give it to me. That kind of stuff.
Okay. But this wasn't the typical until you moved, is what you said. It was like night and day. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did you ever have concerns about if something ever happened at the school?
Not so much. I just don't think the girls, I think they really miss their old friends. They had been there since kindergarten. They did cry. They didn't want to go to the new school. They were trying everything in their power to get back to the old school.
Okay.
Whether it was begging me or just, Mom, we want to go back. Can we please move? We can move into a smaller house, whatever we can do. They just wanted to go back. They were not happy.
Okay.
They did not want to go to this school. They were not happy.
Okay. And do you think that your girls are going to be removed from you, from your state, from your ability to access their well-being? Do you think that that is the direction that they're pushing for?
To remove them, I apologize. Can you repeat that?
Sure, to remove them from you, from the state, from your ability to access them.
Yes, I do.
Why would they do that?
I honestly think it's a punishment for speaking out, if you want my honesty. There's also been some power struggle between the probation officer, DHS, and myself.
Okay.
And I think that's where she's heading.
Okay, so the probation officer would be Amy Bennett.
Yes.
Okay. And you and Amy, you're not seeing eye to eye?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen eye to eye?
Amy just got the case for the girls 8 months ago.
Okay.
So from the beginning, when the girls were found from AWOL in Abbie's condition, and she wanted to throw her in the detention center for 12 months, no. There was no eye to eye after that. And Abbie passed out twice, and they had told me it was no big deal. She didn't need to go to the hospital. So from that point on, there was no trust in Amy's decisions.
Okay. What about the social worker on the case? She's the probation social worker. So the way that I was explained it is there's dual jurisdiction. Does that make sense?
Correct.
Okay. So the state under the juvenile court has some custody, and foster care under the state of Michigan has some custody. They both have custody. Temporary custody, actually, both of them.
Correct.
Okay. So Amy is with the courts for juvenile, or is she with the Department of Health and Human Services?
Amy is through the courts with juvenile.
Okay.
And she does trump all decisions over DHS, ultimately, for the twins.
Okay. So that's not what I was told today. Has Amy told you that?
No, Amy has not told me that.
Okay. And you believe that because she has trumped everything? Or
I'm sorry?
what makes you believe that, Lori? What has you believing that she trumps over the others?
I've seen CPS try to get these girls home on numerous times. They've worked hard to get the girls home. And ultimately it was Amy that was against it. I mean, she's adamant the girls are going to serve their time. It doesn't matter their condition, they're going to serve their time.
Okay.
DHS worked extremely hard.
DHS had a Mary Williams, social worker, who was working this case. I've spoken with the department today and asked about Mary Williams, and I was told that she is on leave. And the type of leave that she's on, they said, is she on medical leave? Nope. She's just on leave, and they're not sure when she'll be coming back. So she's not currently on your case. When is the last time that you saw Mary or spoke with Mary regarding your case? When is the last time she was on your case that you're aware of?
She was at the July 8th hearing.
Okay.
And I do know that on July 8th, she had a show cause hearing on my case as well.
Okay.
I don't know the outcome of that.
Why don't you know the outcome?
Because I didn't appear for that hearing. It didn't pertain to me. I found out as I seen the dockets laying out that she was being show caused on my daughter's case.
So you were never informed, so you couldn't go even if you wanted to. Is that correct?
No, because it wasn't actually part of me. She had violated the judge's order.
She being who?
The Mary Williams had violated the judge's order. And from my understanding, that is what the show cause was. Since that day, I have not seen or spoke to Mary.
Okay. Do you know what she violated the judge's orders in doing?
What was said in the courtroom was she was supposed to have something expedited for my daughter Alyssa to go live with her father in Hawaii, some paperwork set up so they can start to inspect his home and get her placed. And Mary did not get that done.
Are your daughters close to their father?
Alyssa has made a bond with her father. She didn't know her father growing up, but she has made a bond with her father.
Okay.
And that's something that she wants to do. She wants to be out of the system.
Okay. And
she will be 18 in less than 2 months.
Okay. So they still won't release her.
As a matter of fact, they will hold her
until
until she's 19.
They'll hold her until she's 19?
Yes.
Okay. When she's 18 in the state of Michigan, are you considered an adult? Can you vote?
Yes.
You can vote. Can you move out of your parents' home?
You can actually move out at 17 legally in Michigan.
You can vote, you can move out, you can live on your own, but if the department has custody or detains you, they can hold you until you're 19?
19 generally, or they could do 26. That's not likely, but 19 is often the age. If they are on any psychotropic medication, which they have Alyssa on one antidepressant, they will hold them till they are 19.
Okay. What is your take on Chris Anderson? Do you find her to be helpful?
I think both DHS workers have worked hard and they've had a battle. And the battle wasn't so much, they were trying hard to get these girls home. And I do have to tell you, there was a third party that was in a meeting with all parties. Okay. And I was clueless as to what was really going on until the third party came out and said, look, this is what's going on. She said, you have two people that are working extremely hard to get your girls home. She said, however, you've got one that is working against them.
And that's the Amy Bennett.
Yes. And the third party was somebody through the state. So.
Okay.
It wasn't a friend of mine.
Right.
It was somebody through the state that worked for the state.
3 children removed from you. Do you have a criminal record? Criminal background?
None.
Do you abuse drugs?
Never.
Okay. ever any allegations of you beating your children?
No.
You picked up the phone and you called because you're a good mom and you didn't want your kids to go in a bad direction.
Correct. I wanted help.
You wanted help.
I wanted resources.
Yeah. You were in a new community, you said. You weren't so familiar as you were in your old community where the girls were inundated with activities.
A whole new county.
Would you suggest to any parent that is looking for resources to pick up the phone and call CPS?
Never. Never. It was the biggest mistake of my life. And what made it even worse was going along with the incorrigible petition against my daughters. Never, ever would I recommend turning to the state for help. Turn to your church, turn to your neighbors, which unfortunately I didn't know any neighbors. We were new, but never, never.
Never turn to the
Never.
state.
Never.
You've paid a heavy price.
And so are my daughters permanently.
Have you reached out to the governor?
Yes.
To
Many
your
people
assembly
have for us.
members? Assembly members, mayor?
Yes, several people have as well.
Okay. And what is the response that you've gotten?
They don't get involved
They don't get involved in what?
in the CPS cases. We've had some representatives that they would contact. They were going to contact the department. We have had recently. We've had some advocacy groups step in. Unfortunately, DHS has not been very honest with them.
Okay.
But we haven't really been able to get much help. But we're looking now towards more civil rights, groups to help us and kind of
Okay.
guide us and
What if
hopefully get my
you
business
haven't?
back at least.
Yeah, our time is up. There's a lot more I have to discuss. Your children went from 145 pounds to 90, 95. Trying to commit suicide, no more menstrual cycle, passing out in psychiatric wards, attempting suicide, and all mom did was pick up the phone and say, hey, Child Protective Services, I'm trying to protect my teenagers. They're acting out a little bit, and I would like some resources. Can you help me? I'd like to maybe scare them a little bit. Can you come and visit us? Imagine inviting the department in, folks, and 25 months later, fighting for the lives of your children that have deteriorated, have been sent out of the state, and now potentially are being sent out of the state to a facility. And mom, you are being asked to pay $40,000, and as of recently, you were jailed for several days because you are in contempt because you disagree with the courts.
That is correct.
Folks, something is wrong here, and we intend to get to the bottom of it. I had very good communication with some people who were not aware of what's going on with this case, and they've asked me to follow up with them, and they have assured me that they will follow up with National Safe Child. They don't want to see this happen. As a matter of fact, one of the correspondents was shocked to hear that children are sent out, and I can tell you her name. Her name is Erica Keeley. She is speaking today as a spokesperson for the department on behalf of Mr. Wheaton. And when I asked Erica what her thoughts were about these, or any children being sent out to other states, she said, no, we always try to keep the children here. I said, what about Nebraska? Erica's response is, I've never heard of that. So what's going on, folks? Erica, I have to tell you, seemed very honest in some of the display of shock that I could hear over the telephone. So perhaps, folks, we need to go to the top people. Have you ever spoken with Mr. Wheaton, Bob Wheaton, with the department?
He was out of the office, and I've spoke with his, I think it was his secretary, maybe.
Okay. Have you
And
ever
that
spoken
was
with him, though?
Not him directly, no.
Okay. So maybe he might be a good person to speak with. He's out of the Lansing office. I did speak with Erica, who is sitting on his behalf today. And Erica sounded like she was being very sincere. She was shocked at some of the things that I was telling her. And I asked her if a child needs medical attention within the department and they were being detained, would they have the ability to get that medical attention? And she said yes. The necessary medical attention that they need, they would be able to get it. You disagree?
Abbie's already missed 2 appointments this week.
Now, let me ask you something. Somebody said that you are making these appointments and they're not medically necessary. You are saying that they are lying. Is that correct?
100%. I have the documents.
Okay. So we're not done, folks. The time is done for today's show, but we are not done because we have a lot more. And we will continue this conversation, I suppose, and I will post some quotes that I don't have in their entirety right now, so I don't want to misquote somebody. Some quotes from the department regarding your case today, and I will send that over to you. Erica Keeley, you can send over information to her mom, and I will privately give you her email address. Inform this woman. Inform these people. Give them a chance. Not that you trust the system, and I don't blame you. I don't trust the system either. But I am a firm believer that there are good people within a very bad system. Okay, folks, Lori, this conversation is far from over. 2 girls, Michigan, tell us the Facebook page again, and we've got to close.
Free the O'Donnell girls from CPS.
Free the O'Donnell girls.
I appreciate your time.
From CPS. Folks, get this out, share it. A child is in danger every day. This mother is crying out. She's got 3 children in the system, and she's the one that made the call and asked for protection. It's been hell for the past 25 months. Her kids are on lockdown. Free the O'Donnell girls. Facebook page. UBN Radio, we love you. We honor you for caring about the safety of children. This is the National Safe Child Show. We will see everybody next Friday at 2 p.m. Join us.
Thank you for listening to the National Safe Child Show on UBN Radio. For past episodes, visit the archives on ubnradio.com. And for more information, go to nationalsafechildcoalition.com. The views and opinions expressed in these radio programs are those of the individual hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of Universal Broadcasting